Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. It's Larry Benedict joined by Eric Shamilov. Good morning, Eric. Crazy times we're living in. It's an all-out crash down 1% on the day. People are freaking out, almost ready to jump out windows. It's a little crazy out
That's
there.
right. Yeah. Uh, Geopolitical all year long.
What is
That's what I'm going.
geopolitical?
Well, we're
Just
going
tell
to
me
get
what
geopolitical.
geopolitical is. Honestly, what is geopolitical?
Headline.
That Trump
Let's
put
define
tariffs on that he's never going to put on anyone. That's geopolitical.
it. I would define
I
it
think
as
I
headline.
think there is a way bigger underlying story here that we'll get to in this podcast. But you know, I don't listen. I don't consider it geopolitical. I don't understand it. But what's geopolitical?
He wants Greenland. He's tariffing Europe or threatening to. Europe is invoking one of their rules or laws that allow them to retaliate in kind. So that's pretty geopolitical.
I don't
We
think they need the
have
rules to
in
retaliate.
Europe.
Let me ask you a question. They got supposedly tariff, which he's going to taco tomorrow in his speech at Davos, almost 100%. Okay, he's going to taco. Okay, so he's going to taco in some way. Everyone knows that. That's not what the real underlying problems are. We're in a new year. That's the number one underlying problem. No one is up money. That's the number two underlying problem. Nobody trading is up money. I heard algos had the worst start to a year in history of algos. I don't know how long that history is or where they're measuring it from, but worst year, worst start. Okay. No one's up money. Okay. We have You want to talk geopolitical? We do have geopolitical. It's called the Japanese bond market. Okay. That's a little geopolitical. Okay. Their bond market is crashed. It's actually crashed. Okay. From where it was to where it is a full out, all out crash. I don't know if you agree with that, but it's a full out crash.
Well, you had an interesting perspective on that. You actually think that higher rates in Japan are kind of good for them
Yeah.
in a
Well,
way.
listen, look at their stock market record highs. I mean, it came off 1% off a record high, but it's exploding. It's at 54,000 or 53,000, continues to go higher. So I do think it's good overall. And I think giving people an alternative to stocks is always a good thing. And, like our markets, listen, we're in a crazy, crazy, crazy bubble in many, many facets of our markets, from precious metals to, I wouldn't call Bitcoin in a bubble anymore, maybe a mini bubble. Precious metals definitely in a bubble. I don't know what that is. What? For what? Okay. Um, you know, what else? I just think that the stock market is in a major bubble. Um, as we got on the air, it looked like the market was going to hold, and then we cratered 50 NASDAQ points, a little more, 20 SPU handles at 8:30. I don't know what the number is. Maybe there was a number. I don't know. Do you see a number?
Let's check. With
Hmm.
all the geopolitical, I don't know, you don't like the word geopolitical this morning, but
I don't. I
yeah,
don't. What is geopolitical? Trump tariffs are geopolitical now?
okay, I guess it's
We
not
had
the
them
way
all year last year. Was Trump, hold on, was Trump tariffing all year last year?
he was.
Okay, so I don't know. I mean, is that really geopolitical? Really? I mean, it is what it is, but I don't see it as geopolitical. But
Yeah, they're no real. I mean, we had an ADP employment number, but that was 20 minutes ago. So this
yeah,
little blip
I don't
in
know.
the
It's
air.
probably some fake headline somewhere that, is jockeying the market for position. And I don't know. You know, there's a lot out there. I mean, the Japanese bond market being one, okay. Our bond market being two, 430 yields, okay, quickly rising, maybe rises to 450. even quicker. Trump has lost control. You know what's funny? I actually think the market is, indirectly sticking it to him because, he's crying for lower rates, lower rates. Do you see rates going higher or lower? I'm just
Yeah,
wondering.
they're going higher, man. They
Right.
are.
So why is Donald okay with that? He's crying for lower rates. He doesn't realize that Fed funds and the Fed itself cannot control interest rates. Okay. They can control short-term interest rates. Okay. Where banks borrow from each other or the Fed window, but he can't control where banks want to lend people money for mortgages, etc. And I think the reason why rates are going up is I think there may be an underlying problem in housing. Um, there may be an underlying problem, in loans outstanding. I think there are a lot of underlying problems. So, that's just me. That's me, saying it. I just don't know. You're calling it geopolitical. I mean, geopolitical to
Not
me
only
is
that, I think, and I've been saying this. I think this is going to be a year of geopolitical headlines. Initially, I thought it would be because the midterms would be coming up. I thought a lot of countries would try to step in, do what they want ahead of that, knowing that maybe hands would be tied with the midterms coming up. I didn't expect right off the bat in January him to go into Venezuela, and now his push for Greenland. And what we haven't seen yet is any kind of response or maneuver geopolitically. I know you don't like that word this morning, but
nah,
geopolitically for China. And I think
everything's
it's coming. I
geopolitical.
think one day we're going to wake up. I think China, we're going to see a headline from them. And I think we're going to have a major gap down in the market. So
I mean,
I
listen, that is possible. It's not looking good, but as far as that being a probability, I don't think is that high. But the one thing that I'll say to you, it's even with this Davos. Trump's going to Davos to talk tomorrow to yell at everybody and tell them to give him Greenland, and he'll storm off the stage or whatever he'll do, or he'll reduce tariffs. He's tacoing. It's just a matter of whether it's tomorrow or in a week. I mean, he's brutally ridiculous. But one of these times it's going to cause a problem. But the one thing I'll say about China is they're ice cold, dude. They are ice. They are waiting. They are watching.
yeah,
They don't need Eric. They don't need to make a move right now. They don't need to make a move. So the bottom line is they're just sitting. They're waiting. They're going to make moves. Like Chi isn't even going to Davos. From what I gather, he doesn't go a lot, but he's sending someone, or I don't know if it's the president or someone he's sending, but they don't care about Davos. Like we care. Like Trump is like the only president that really cares, about that. He wants to flex his muscles. It's just we're in an interesting spot, but China is very calculating. They're not concerned about whatever tariffs we put on them. Europe's running around in a tizzy. They don't know what's going on. They're all crying. But it doesn't. It's just not a good light. For what's going on right now. And I'm looking at a chart on bond yields, and the last time the Fed cut, the bond was trading at like the 10-year was trading at under 4% right before the cut. The Fed cuts again for the third time in a row, right? And we go to 430. Okay. What's going to happen when he doesn't cut at this meeting this week? Or I think it's this week. What's going to happen then?
maybe the reverse, but I don't know. Today, the trade is the same trade we had last April. Dollar down, bonds down,
How much
right?
is the dollar down? Doesn't look like it's down much. I mean,
DXY is down pretty good. I mean, almost 1%. It's a good move for the dollar.
yeah. And
You and I were on
sell
the phone.
wait and sell Bitcoin and buy silver. That's the trade. Sell Bitcoin and buy silver. That so listen, silver's gonna. You know what's funny? The original reason they were running silver was because it was going in data centers or whatever they were using. Okay. But if the economy is slowing and the market is slowing and these tech companies are getting killed, which they are, okay, or going down, how are they going to have the money to do data centers, and how are they going to have the money to buy a commodity that is triple the price it was a year ago? Triple. So why is any of that even being tossed around? It just doesn't, it honestly doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest, that these commodities are ripping up when really they're ripping up because they're being used in AI technology, but AI technology is slowing down. So to me, I'm looking at it like, I mean, this is just retail. I know you don't agree with it. You think it's someone else buying. I don't know who. I mean, even the Chinese government can't buy a tenth of what's going on in a day. Um, so, I feel like it's total retail buying. They don't care. It's kind of the buying that we saw when Bitcoin rallied from basically 100,000 to 130,000 and then right back down to 80,000. I believe that's what's going to happen here. I think silver can minimally go in half. It's up 50% for the year, but you got to do this trade using options. You cannot do this trade using futures. It's too dangerous of a trade. But I see that, um, and I just see equity
The
market.
reason it's more dangerous as a trade, I think, is because 3 4 months ago, silver, like a $1 move in silver would be big. Now you have like $3 4 moves in silver, just one silver futures contract, and if you're wrong on that trade, even just for one day, that's $20,000 a contract if you're wrong,
Yeah, so
and it could just snap right
so
back
so
in your.
that tells you that no one's even trading futures, because how can you trade futures when they move $6 in a day or $8 in a day? And listen, silver's moved from, it traded 86 on Friday. It's up $10. The price of silver coming into last year was under $20. It's moved the value of the entire commodity in 2 trading days. Actually, not even. So, that's the crazy, that's the craziest crazy part about this. But
You
markets
spoke
are.
about costs. You spoke about costs in AI and how high silver could go. I don't think anybody's even thinking about Trump making all of these tech companies now bid for their own energy and pay up for electricity with PJM. I don't know if you were following that news last week, but I think it had some sort of impact in the market. And, I'll just pull up a chart of electricity prices here in the US. When you talk about the cost of AI, I think the average American pays for AI not just through a Chat GPT subscription, but there's shadow costs. Electricity is one of them, and he Trump is kind of making them, I think, foot the bill going forward. And I think it borrows from a trend I've seen from him. He attacked single family home buying from institutions. That's the affordability agenda that the Democrats have. I think he's stealing that from them ahead of the midterms. He's going after electricity prices now. So
But
I think it's
but
all
is he?
political.
But is he really? I mean, come on. He blurted that out a week ago, and you haven't heard a word since. He's blurted out, whatever, a week and a half ago. He's got so many things blurted out that he couldn't even come close to capturing anything that's going on or make an impact. And when he gets blown out in the midterms, which is what is going to happen unless something major changes or we're in a war or something major changes, they're getting blown out. I don't know if I let's pull up Poly Market. I'll bet you it's off the chart how bad it's going to be. Okay, I don't
Right. So if that's the case, then we're probably going to see more and more of this kind of stuff, like randomly coming out of the White House, leading into the midterms. I just think this is like we thought last year was a headline driven year, and maybe we haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, well, listen, there is only a few headlines unless there's surprise that we don't know about, that we get attacked or something goes on. It's all the same stuff. Trump going wild, tariffing everyone, da 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 da, then walking back and the same thing. And I'm just surprised. You know what I'm surprised at? I'm surprised at Scott Besson. Okay. He is such a do boy for Trump that it's scary. That guy who you think would have like opinions and zero. I mean, literally, if you heard him on CNBC this morning at like 6 in the morning, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, America's back. We're back, dude. Where were we before? We're back. Where? Tell me where we were before a year ago. Where were we that was so bad a year ago? We're back. How are we
Yeah,
back?
I'm checking those odds here. Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for them.
Well, what is the odds?
So, uh, let's see. Which okay, so they have which party will win the Senate in 2026. That's the Dems, but they think it's so. Polymarket is like there's going to be more of a balance of power, basically. Democrats probably taking over Congress, Republicans keeping Senate. That's what I'm
Okay.
seeing.
Okay. Well, that would be probably the best case scenario. And what are the odds?
Um, Above 60 for the Senate, and something like that, I think, for Congress as well. So,
Hey, see if Polymarket, supposedly the Supreme Court may rule today. I mean, we've been hearing that for weeks and weeks and weeks. And another thing, Besson said that he believes they're going to uphold the tariffs, okay, which I don't know if he has inside information or whatever. Um, but they may rule today. Nobody's really talking about it or thinking about it. They probably won't. I don't know what's taken them so long, but you know, that could come out today. And I don't know. Markets are extremely relaxed. For Did you know the market's down 1%, a little over 1% for the day, and people are freaking out? My phone is blowing up like I'm, giving away free money or something.
well,
What's
they're
going
not.
on? Why are
I
we
mean,
down? Why are we down? Why are we down? Why?
well, if you think about the people that are calling you, and you think about the kind of stocks they're in, they probably haven't been making a lot of money for the last 3 months because I think that there's a repricing of growth that is in the very early stages, and that's why the Nasdaq has been underperforming the S&P for 3 months. All of this year, every time the Nasdaq makes a move, it comes right back in, both on a relative and absolute basis. If you're in stocks like Palantir and Nvidia, for the last 3 months, 4 months, even longer, you're not making money.
Yeah, but Eric, you've been handed a gift. Palantir was $2. Okay. It's now $165. Okay. Nobody and their mother has bought this below 100. Okay. That's in it right now. And they've been rewarded for stupidity. Okay. I mean, the market cap of Palantir is more money than they'll ever make in the company's history. Okay, so we're dealing with that. You're dealing with the bubble. you're dealing in a bubble. And the thing is, for the first time, though, this is the difference. For the first time, they're down money like they were last year going into April, into March when we cratered. But the difference between that and what I think may happen this time is that time last year, the market rocketed out of the bottom when Trump, dude, what were we up in one day? 12% in a
Well,
day?
yeah, yep.
I mean, because Trump tweeted something that it's good to buy America, and then he walked back on the tariffs, which you don't even know if he walked back on. You can't even tell what the tariffs are, what's in, what's out. Nobody knows anything. We're operating in a complete dark, to be honest, of what he can do. Tomorrow he could change it up or add to it, and it's not real. And I think people coming into the midterms are sick of it. They're sick of it. It's hurting small businesses. Okay. It's making it so that people can't really operate. Listen, if I don't know, what's happening in my trading business today, it's a lot harder for me to trade than if I'm pretty stable. And he's creating instability across the world. In a number of different ways. Now he's coming after the UK. The UK was like his best friend, remember? They were like the first person that did a trade deal that they never did one. Like, I believe they don't have one signed trade deal. I don't even think there's a framework. I just think this is him trying to get a money grab. And, it's, listen, in the treaty with Greenland, okay? I don't You can, they can, we could put as many bases in Greenland as we want. What do we need to own it for? What if we're worried about, Russia coming over the top or whatever, why don't we put 100 bases there? Put thousands and thousands of military if that's what he's worried about. Like, we're able to do whatever we want there. Why do we have to own it? Like, what is the reason we have to own it?
I think part of his thinking there is they owe us for NATO for the last 50, 60
Oh, so
years.
we're just going to take their country.
And so we're just,
Okay. Whatever, dude. I get it. Okay.
you
I'm
know,
just
that's
saying, if you
thinking.
really look at it, we could get done in Greenland, and they've said it's fine to do whatever we want up there. So what is the problem? I'm just trying to understand what's the problem.
It was actually funny. I follow this comedian, Shane Gillis. He's very funny. And he was like, all I think about now is Greenland. And he's like, do you think maybe that, 1,000 years ago, the Vikings switched the names Iceland and Greenland to throw people off? And then, that finally fooled somebody in 2025 with Trump. He's looking at a map. He's like, Greenland, we want green. Let's go. So I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, I don't know. They have commodities. They have rare earth. Maybe that's a play on that. I do understand the strategic importance of Greenland with you mentioned China moving nice and slow, and there's a component there where you want a presence, but like you said, they could build as many bases there as they want, right? What's the issue?
Right. I don't know. That's the thing. He just wants to stir the pot. He wants to own everything, and it's kind of weird to kind of look at.
I think in terms of the market, I think you're of the mind that the market should have been down anyway, right? And you and I were talking about that yesterday. It's always strange to kind of trade these headlines because you have the headline. I think both you and I are kind of looking for, unbelievably, we're on the same page, but we're looking for downside in the market. I think there's a repricing of growth. And then you have a headline like this, the market is down. And it's not because of an earnings report. It's not because the market is thinking, you know, AI companies have a little bit too much capex, things like that, fundamental bottom up stuff. This is a top down headline driven uh, gap in the market. And it's like, so how do you handle that? Like, you're thinking the market should be down anyway, but not because of this. So it's a little
I I don't listen. The market should be down because it's absolutely ridiculous. Okay.
right,
But
right.
wait, but better everybody and their mother owns the market, including my mother. Okay. Everybody owns it. Okay. My mother calls me, oh, why is it not going up every day? I mean, so the people buying the market should not be in the market. There are many, 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 many people above the age of 75 or 80 that are fully allocated to equities. Okay, because they need the money to live. The cost of just living in general over the last couple of years has gone up so much that it's unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, I have kids that are professionals and they can't get by. I mean, they can't get by and they're professionals. I mean, it's bad. And this bond move that no one is paying attention to is actually very, very big. It's very important and very big. Okay. It goes against everything Trump wants. He doesn't even understand that it's happening because all he's yelling and screaming is cut short term interest rates. But everybody is tied to this, whether it's credit cards, whether it's mortgages, whether it's home equity, everything is tied to the 10-year and even longer.
And I would
So
say that's the one trade that never recovered after Liberation Day. Like everything else recovered, stocks recovered, right? Like the market was fine, but the bond market never really.
no, the
You
bond
know,
market recovered. It got back down under 4%, but not anything unbelievable. And what I
so
felt was ironic about last year was every time the Fed cut, the bond went straight up. The bond yield went straight up and the bond went straight down. And now we're almost in uncharted territory, and it could be a quick spike up from 430 to 450. And these numbers are too much for this market. It's too much for AI. It's too much for borrowing. It's just much bigger than people really think. And if you ask any retail guy, they're not even looking at anything, but they're definitely not looking at that. They have no understanding of that. Um, you know, you're saying the dollar is weak. Yes, the dollar is a little weak today, but overall, it's not taking out, the euro isn't taking out the 119 high of last year, 5 months ago. So in the last 5 months, the dollar has been against the euro has been between 116 and 118 or 115. It's been the tightest range I've seen in a long time. We have a currency trading product called the Currency Wizard, and we haven't even issued a trade because the market has been dead. I mean, I don't know if we have an extension here, to a buck 20 on the euro, but I don't think so. And I don't think a lot of this is being caused by a weak dollar because last year when we were making epic record highs, the euro was at 119. So I don't see a correlation there. I do see bonds being the biggest upfront, issue in the forefront. Just me. Obviously, I'm going to throw your word in geopolitical. We have geopolitical stuff going on. If you want to call Trump tariffs geopolitical, we have that going on. I mean, to me, geopolitical is like ship movement in the Gulf, some kind of you know, thing. Trump doing tariffs is an everyday thing. I mean, listen, I'm mad at myself because I
well,
was a little bit.
it is geopolitical. He's trying to take over Greenland. They're pushing back, and he threw the tariffs on. So
How is he going to take over Greenland? Just tell me. He's going to
he
bomb
wants to
them?
buy
I
it.
mean,
Yeah, he wants to buy. I think he wants to buy it. He, you know,
what are we playing Monopoly? Yeah, it's the green property on the board. I want to own that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. So
I
Trump's
think
playing
that's it.
Monopoly. I love it. He's a Monopoly guy. He wants to buy it. Can I trade that property? We'll give you two Canadas for one Greenland. I mean, come on. It's a joke. It's an
This is his version of Manifest Destiny. We had Manifest Destiny 150 years ago with our push to the West, right? And
Eric.
it,
We so do
now he's
not need
pushing to the
we
East and the
so
North.
do not need to own Greenland that it's not even funny. Have you seen pictures of what that looks like?
I did, yeah.
There's no one there. There's
Yeah.
no one in Greenland. There's like under, I don't even know. There's definitely under 1 million people, but there's in the hundreds of thousands of people in the whole country, and it's all ice. I don't know. And we're given permission to put as many bases as we want on there. So I'm not understanding why we need to own it, but you'll explain it to me in another podcast coming up. Um, you know, and we're
So how
set.
are you doing today? What are your plans for the
I
market?
haven't, I got to be honest with you, I haven't even begun to look.
Well, let's start like this. And you and I started like this yesterday on the phone. So maybe we just continue that. How much what do you think this headline is worth? The market is down 1.5%. He's threatening Europe with tariffs. Obviously, the market is down 1.5%. Is this headline worth 1.5%? Is this headline worth
Why
3%?
is why is it only the headline that has us down? That's the first thing that we got to look at. Why do you think it's only the headline that has us
I
down?
so I started
You don't
talking about
think you don't
throws.
think that you don't think we have a market that's acted extremely freaking weird for the last bunch of months. It looks horrendous in general, and we're down 1%, and people are freaking out. We're down under 1% for the month, okay, and people are freaking out.
We're
Isn't that a
trading the day, right? So we're trading the day, and yeah, I agree with you. I think there's a repricing of growth. So this is why this kind of headline throws a wrench in it. Like, do you focus on the headline for today, or are you focusing on the bigger picture and like, yeah, the market should have been down anyway, you know?
I'm not focusing on the headline. I'm focusing on the price action. And what I would say to the people watching us today is retail is buying. They always buy. They're going to buy the opening. They're going to buy now. They're going to buy until they go in. And it reminds me when I was at Spear Leads, we had a customer, and the customer went off the rails. He went crazy. He went mentally crazy during the trading day, and he kept hitting the buy button, and he wouldn't stop, and he kept buying and buying and buying and buying, and he was over all his risk limits. He was putting the company in jeopardy, and they called me up. This is a true story. And they go, we need you to go into his office and unplug the machine. Okay. And that is a true story. I will not name the name of the gentleman that I did that to. Okay. But the guy lost his mind, and he was down so much money. He kept buying and buying, and his account was deficit. And that's what's going to happen with retail. 100%. They're going to
The
blow
whole
up.
the whole retail market is going to go on tilt. Is that what you're saying?
The whole retail market is mini tilt. Okay. And what I don't understand is, and this is what's funny about it, there's so much more money to be made on the short side in a shorter amount of time. Okay. And all people want to do is buy. Like I don't know what your machine looks like, but there's like a green button for buy and a red button for sell. No one ever wants to sell. No one hits that button. And then they get FOMO. Okay. If they sold Palantir at 160 and it goes to 170, dude, it reminds me of you and Netflix. They're angry. Okay,
Netflix,
they're
by the
angry.
way,
They're talking about it every day. Why did I
Netflix,
sell? Why did I sell? What am I doing? Why am I selling? And
well, with
that's the
me,
market.
why am I not selling more Netflix?
I don't
Today's
know, but
earnings,
I would
Netflix.
just say to you, that's the market we're in. We're in the market where people are like angry that they make any sale and take profits and make money, and that is a recipe for a bad market. And
Well,
it's
I
interesting.
think their mentality at this point is the market owes it to me. They have
Right.
been,
Right.
yeah.
Well, that is what I'm not understanding. Why does the market owe it to them? Why are they entitled? Why are they entitled in a business where they know literally nothing or very little to buy whatever it is they're buying for whatever reason and have it go up? It can't be that easy. Like, can I go in today to do surgery on somebody's arm? You know,
Arm, maybe arm, but not
Yeah,
brain.
I don't think so, dude. I think it would be a bad situation. All I'm saying is the doctor that's the orthopedic surgeon has years and years and years of experience, and you can't step in and do his job. And what's happened here in the stock market is people who are mortgage brokers, bankers, whatever they are, working in Starbucks, they think they can make more money buying stocks in the stock market off of tips, off of tips people are giving them. Oh, buy this, buy that. And that's where the problem is. And when that slows down, listen, the one thing I'll say is I've seen this for my whole career. I've seen stuff like this. This has gone on a little bit longer without any, complete flush out, but there's going to be a flush out where retail doesn't want to touch stocks ever again. I know it's hard to believe because what's happened is with the advent, it's like sports gambling. Okay, if you're betting sports, and I never like to equate trading to sports, but when you were betting sports and you're old like me or whatever, you had a bookmaker. Okay, you called the guy on the phone, you had a code number or whatever or a name, and you put the bet in and whatever, and then you had to transact in actual money. Okay, the thing has gone full circle. Now everybody can bet anything in the middle of a game before the game starts, the color of the uniform, the flip of the coin, the next pass. That's why there's so much. I mean, listen, I've been talking about the rig in the stock market for a long time, and I think it's the Janie rig. Um, they're
Jane and
rigging
Cat.
up the market. But listen, look what's going on in sports gambling with they caught like 70 guys fixing first halves of games. You could fix the next shot. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of rigging and fixing that's going on because it's so easy to do. And believe it or not, in the US equity market, as long as US equities are going up, they can keep rigging. And you saw it here when we talk about it, that Jane Street made 18 billion, that Citadel made 40 billion, that Susquehanna made 25 billion, and this company made 11 billion, and Hudson River made 8 billion, and all of these companies made all these billions. You know how, Eric?
Skimming a little on the bid and ask. Maybe a
Is
little front running, a little bit.
front running, skimming, whatever. Okay, not by trading, not not
Oh, you
by
know
by
how China
putting on
combated it?
risk.
You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. This is how China combated it. They made all these firms stop their colo. So all these servers that they have right next to the exchange, they're no longer able to do that in China. That's it.
Yeah,
No
but
more.
why is a country that's communist knowing what we know that the SEC knows and everyone knows, okay? Why are they okay with them seeing my orders before they get to the exchange? Why are they okay with that? Why are they okay with selling retail order flow to a quote unquote market maker who's not a market maker? A market maker is what we were when I
Well,
traded
I
at
think what you
Spear
need to
Lead.
say is why are we as a capitalist country okay with that while a communist country is actually trying to do something about it?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and they kicked them out of the country, okay, for rigging, okay.
Well,
So
they took it
so
one step further. They didn't just do that. They don't allow the market making firms and the algo firms to have their servers next to the exchanges.
Well,
That's
they
where
should never
they're
do that. They should never do
technological.
that.
Yeah.
They've given these guys a cheating advantage, and that's why they make billions. It's not they're not trading for risk. There's no risk. They're not saying, "Oh, I think the market's going up today, down today. This option's overpriced." Da 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 da. No, what they do is they see the order coming in the pipe, and they run in front. They buy as much as they can. They see how many. They net aggregate orders. If they see 500 buy orders come into Nvidia, they just go in and blow the stock up to the upside, or same thing on the downside. So you're trading in a rigged stock market. That's the problem. Okay, but the reason why I brought it up is it didn't matter to the retail public last year that these guys skimmed. I'm going to use the word skimmed 150, 200, 300 billion off the top because their net P&Ls were all positive. They don't realize they would have made 300 billion more to all those retail customers. So it's it's just an interesting thing, and like you said, like China doesn't want to deal with that. Why are we dealing with that? A market maker is someone that's in a stock showing a bid and an offer. Okay, that's a market maker, or what it was. Okay, they're not showing one bid or one offer. There's not anything in the biggest stocks in the world. They have taken the system and they have just crushed it. But as far as today, I don't know if you want to take a look at the straddle um, in the market, see what that looks like. I would think it would be at least $45.
So I'd be looking at the 68.40 um, straddle for today, right? That's
Yeah, just
where.
look at the ones that are priced the same, the puts and the calls, and you'll know where we are.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get an indicative open for SPX. I think it's going to be around 68.40, and the straddle, as you said, is trading at around 45.
I didn't even look. It's obvious. That's actually extremely low for a day where we have an outsized day.
Well,
Okay.
there's a lot of key technical levels around where the futures open, around where the SPX is going to open up. So, for instance, ES is at basically, if you have a 45-point straddle, if we get that to the downside, well, that's your 100-day moving average right there. If we get that to the upside, well, that's your 50-day moving average right there. Also, if we get that to the upside, that's your volume point of control of this overnight futures session. That's 6,900 on the dot for the ES futures. So to me, I think maybe that straddle might be kind of correct. Maybe for a good swath of the day, you know. Yeah, I think there's just too many
You
technical.
obviously were not up at 5 a.m. You were not awake. I can promise you that.
I was not.
You were
Well, that's because I did all my trading already last night.
okay. Well, I happened to be up and the market
I
was
think,
at
and I felt really
extreme.
bad buying silver last night because
Why?
I was thinking of you, and I felt bad, but I bought it anyway.
Whatever, dude. Okay. Feel bad. It's all good, bro. Listen, we're gonna end on that note because that's actually ridiculous. Unless you have something to add, you have no silver on that. I can tell you. Okay, so
I'm
I
just
know you're in
kidding.
it, right? You're in it.
I'm
Okay.
out of it. I'm just scalping this. It's too volatile, man. It's too
It
volatile.
is. I mean, I don't see. It's funny.
Dude, a small move is like 3% of my managed account. I can't. It's unless I'm just scalping it. Like I'll be in gold, and
Yeah, but how can you scalp silver when it's trading wherever and then it could drop $2 or rally $2 in 2 seconds? Like, how do you scalp that?
I'm just trying to do level to level stuff. So I'm picking off through my technical analysis. I'm just picking off levels. I don't need a big. I mean, it's going up $2-3 per move intraday multiple times. I'm not always successful. Like last Thursday, I got my head blown off, but made that back last night. And I'm not going to sit in it overnight, and because the stop levels that I choose, they're too far away. If I get hit, that's a 2-3%, you know, hit on my book. I can't afford that. That's too much.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what are we thinking today?
Um,
Down 107. Okay, and I go back to my question: is this headline worth a 2% down move?
yeah. Dude, I don't know why you keep going to this headline being the reason for the move. I just why can't we go down one? Dude, listen, this is the difference between me being old like I am and you. Dude, I traded a market that moved 1.5% every single day, every day. Okay. You're in the contrived, rigged Janie market where they're rigging up to run in front of flow and they don't have market direction on, and all they're doing is stealing. Okay. So, why do you think a 1% move is the biggest deal? I mean, you're talking on one hand, you're talking timeout. You're talking about silver moving 6% in 5 seconds. Now you're freaking out on a percent move that we're breaking all these moving averages. I mean, why can't the stock market move 3% a day? Like, I don't understand who writes the rules that says the stock market can't move. I'm just saying, like, it's just so ingrained because of the cheating and front running and seeing the orders and retail participation that the volatility has been so contained, and you're able to have a $7,000 animal, okay, which is basically so much bigger than silver, bigger than gold, and only have it move a percent a day and not even a percent. And now we're down a little more than a percent, and you're like saying, "Oh my God, this is the biggest move." Why
I
can't we close down 3.5% today
want
or
to hear.
4?
You want to hear about a big move? You want to hear?
Yeah,
Natural gas is up 27 freaking percent today. 27.
that's
Okay, so
awesome.
that's you talk about volatility and how could silver go up this much and gold. Natural gas is up 27% today. That's what commodities are. This is what they are, man.
They are and they're not, dude. I mean, literally, what's gone on now is just the rigging. Dude, listen, they took over Bitcoin. Like, look at Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin was like under $1,000. Then it was 3, 5, 10, 8. No retail, no retail. If you think there was retail, you're wrong. Might have been very small retail. It was very hard to access the market. Okay. Then the market went to like 40,000. Retail got involved, 30,000. And then we had the crypto winter and we went to 8,000. Killed people. No one wanted to touch it. I had friends that had Bitcoin. They were in Bitcoin businesses. They shut down. Then retail got access to it and they exploded it up. And what's happened is, like you just said in silver, who can sell silver futures? No one. But these ETFs, I can go in and buy a leveraged ETF for $3, $3 today, and make a grand slam home run. Okay. So that's what's happened here. You just said it yourself. You can't trade silver. You're trading it tiny. So who's trading silver? No one. But the ETFs are going to trade. Dude, the silver ETF will set record volumes today. Okay. Or close. Okay. Every day. It's gone from trading 10 million shares a day to trading 200 million shares a day. Okay. So what do you think is running silver up? I'm just wondering what you think. When
Yeah,
someone
I
buys,
understand there's more volume, and there's only 10 minutes left until the open, and I'm going to say something that we're definitely going to fight about tomorrow. But even though there's so much volume, the there's not been a net accumulation in AUM in these silver ETFs. On the
dude,
contrary, there's been a year-to-date net outflow, according to
no,
Bloomberg data. I know you
absolutely.
don't agree with the Bloomberg data.
Dude, stop telling our customers this. It's absolutely insane. Okay.
No,
So whatever you say, you're right. We're doing 100 million shares and no one's accumulating it. Dude, the thing is trading more. But you're not even getting the point that I'm
on
trying to.
the
You're not
short
getting the point. Can I
getting
just
it.
say my point?
Yeah,
Okay. It doesn't matter, Eric. SLV, when they have to have inflows because they go into the silver market and they buy the commodity. That's the hedge. Okay. And there's not enough to hedge. There's not enough people and not enough movement that, you know, that could happen, you know?
seems like a plausible thing. Could be.
Okay. But whatever.
So
Um,
2020. What do you got, man? What are you doing? We're just gonna
nothing.
nothing yet.
Nothing, just gonna see what happens with the market and, try to sell some
65,
options. Mm.
67. I mean, options down 50 points are giving you fat premium
You
both
just said the
directions.
straddle is nothing. So why don't you buy the straddle and sell the fat premium if that's the case?
That's what I'm thinking, dude. I'm not gonna buy the straddle, but I'm thinking to put on like a 67.80, 67.70 put spread and then look for a call spread as well. Um, I think I'm going to be playing. What I'm going to be playing today is a bounce around between the 50 and 100-day moving average. I think the market's got a pretty good shot of staying right in betwixt those two levels
Hmm.
today. This is what I'm thinking. But I'm going to give myself more cushion on the downside. So, the 100 days only maybe 30 points down, but you could still get a ton of premium. You don't have to take that risk like 50, 60 points down, 67, 80s, 67, 75s are giving
You're
pretty good
buying
premium.
a spread or you're selling a spread? I don't
Yeah,
even know what you what?
selling selling the spread.
Oh, I don't know. What's in the
I mean, it's
60?
going to be a 150-point down day in the SPX today. Is that what we're up against?
I don't know, dude. Silver's up 9% and 50% for the year, and you're worried about a 1% move in S&P. That's getting you thinking we can't do that. Wait, we can't do that, but silver is up 50% for the year. And
Yeah,
you're good with that. You're
that's how
you're
I
no risk in that trade. None. Zero risk. It's going to
zero.
keep it's going to be up hundreds of percent in 1 month. Come on.
Stick with gold, people. Stick with gold.
Uh, Dude, I'm not sticking. I'm just I'm in awe, and this silver will be down on the year. I know that sounds crazy. We're up almost 48% or whatever. Silver will be down on the year. Okay, 100%, probably by February. I mean, this is lunacy,
Damn, by
absolute lunacy. What?
if it happens by February, that's a meltdown. You're calling for a meltdown.
Well, yeah, why, Eric? How is it a meltdown? Okay, I don't understand. It's up 48% for the year. Coming in to be unchanged is a meltdown. It's up 48% in 8 trading days. That's a melt up.
A melt
So
up.
okay, so why can't it have a meltdown,
Theoretically, it could, but will it?
dude? Silver isn't going to stay above 50 when it's all said and done. You will see. That's all I will say. You guys naysayed me on the stock market. You naysayed me on Bitcoin when I came on and told you Bitcoin was ridiculous every single day. Um, and
Bitcoin's back down to 90, 90 below 91.
dude, Bitcoin's finished.
So weird. Like some geopolitical things,
Dude, I'm
Bitcoin.
telling you, get out of your Bitcoin and buy silver here at $95. You'll
I
do
think the
really
market
well.
already did that this morning.
Eric, can I say something to you? Silver and gold are risk on assets, okay? Because of what is going on. They are risk on. And when the retail public starts getting killed in stocks and getting killed in Bitcoin, they're going to have to take money out of silver and gold to pay to keep those positions on. Okay. That's what I'm telling you. I've been doing this for 40 years. I can't listen to the nonsense, and you could keep trying to scalp silver and you think you're going to be okay. You have no idea what is going to happen in this market. That's all I could tell people. Now, listen, you have to do this with options. You cannot enter the futures market. Okay. Options keep you safe. You know your risk and exposure, and you could exponentially make money. Okay. And that's what's important here. And that's how I'm going to leave this podcast. We have 5 to go. You're going to be scalping this thing, and they're going to scalp your head off, dude.
I
And we'll
hope
go
not.
limit down. You don't know. It's funny. You're like Mr. Futures Trader. And for someone scalping silver, you said something that was kind of smart. You said, oh, I got to be careful on the session when it closes. Well, what happens if we go? How about the guys that were long pork bellies or live hogs and it was down 9 days in a row limit? Okay, that's ruined more lives than anyone. This silver will go down limit many days. Okay, this is a crazy move. We're talking silver at $100 right now. $100. I know you think it's going to 5. Where's it going? 1,000? 2? Why don't you just put up a number? That's what you like to do. You never had freaking 100 on your. Nobody could have. The thing was $30, $25.
I didn't.
This is the craziest move that
I
we've
did,
ever seen.
but I did have it with gold, and I still
Okay.
think on that.
Okay. I know. Gold's good. Gold save. Dude, when we go to war, gold will save you. Why is gold up today? Geopolitical. Geopolitical what? He put tariffs on. I mean, no one's getting bombed. I mean, literally, this is crazy. Anyway, I wish everyone good luck today. Be careful with the $45 straddle. Probably a little bit too low. And we'll be back to everybody tomorrow. Enjoy.